That was a much needed win. That was a much needed win for my own sanity, for the standpoint of getting close to hitting the panic button and everything. Whew, much needed win. But what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Knicks Central. The Knicks beat the Milwaukee Bucks 140 to 106, and I apologize for not getting this up earlier. Truthfully, I was watching football, so I only got to catch the first half of the game, at least in detail. I still had on the second half in the background, but I didn't get to pay attention to every detail like I did with the first half of this game. So my analysis on this game isn't going to be the sharpest, but either way, I watched enough to know that I feel a lot better about the way this game went down because it was pretty straightforward and simple. You had Jalen Brunson who produced. You had the bench who stepped up today, which was the most important. The bench stepping up was the most important thing, which is something that I've been so pissed about with this team lately. Karl-Anthony Towns stepped up today. And Anunoby had a little bit of a rough first half of the game, settled in a bit in the second half. But you got production from all over the lineup. I would have liked a better defensive effort in the first half as well, truthfully. But either way, it does not matter because they found a way to make this a bum night and blow the Milwaukee Bucks out, and that is the most important thing. We're going to talk about it all, though. Leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you're Knicks fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. I got so worried when Jalen Brunson left this game with an injury because holy crap was he cooking. That first quarter, what do you have, 23 points, or might have even been more. No, it was 23 points, but my man the first quarter alone went 7 for 11 from the field, 2 for 5 from downtown, which is the biggest part of it all. Is he was actually hitting threes and he was actually attempting threes, which is something he hasn't been doing. Went 7 for 7 from the charity stripe and had a couple assists in there as well. Got a couple boards. So he had himself a really good first quarter. When he was out in the second quarter, though, I got worried. And anyway, in the first quarter, I got worried, to be honest with you, because the Knicks offense looked in rhythm, especially, like I said, Jalen Brunson, who really was driving this offense. And that's where I worried when he was out of the game. But before then, even, OG Anunoby looked very sloppy early in this game. And here comes Precious Achiuwa within the first few minutes of the basketball game. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going to happen today? And I was truthfully worried because they were getting bullied in the paint early on when Precious was in there, which he wasn't actually terrible. I actually thought he was playing better than Anunoby at points because he was getting points, and two, I thought he actually was getting a couple of big stops as well in the paint, but they still were getting annihilated a bit in that area, of course, like it's been for the past few days. Mikal Bridges wasn't really getting involved as much, which is something that worried me. Hart wasn't getting involved, and I truthfully worried when Brunson came out of this game in the second quarter how this offense was going to fare. But Karl-Anthony Towns gave me a reason to not worry. The only thing I didn't love is that he was hitting the deck every 2 seconds of the second quarter, and it was leading the Bucks in transition to get a couple of easy points. But I did love the way that he was playing offensively, and that's when the Knicks are at their best, when he's showing up offensively and when Brunson is, and especially when one of those guys is off the floor, the other one's producing, and that is the most important thing. OG Anunoby, you started to see him step up when he came back into the game. Josh Hart was a little bit more involved as well. And then the biggest thing was the bench. Cam Payne, as much as I've been ripping on the guy and as much as all of us have, he was unbelievable today, especially in that second quarter. He was the main factor in that second quarter going the way it did, because when Jalen Brunson was out, he was the one that was contributing a lot of offense. I mean, he matched Karl-Anthony Towns' point total in that quarter. He was 4 for 7 from the field, 3 for 6 from downtown, which is the most important thing because his team has been struggling so much with the three ball. And then the third quarter, it's Anunoby's turn to get a little bit more involved as he went 4 for 6 from the field. Brunson going 4 for 6 from the field as well, and making 2 threes. And then the fourth quarter, it ended up being just a blowout. Doc Rivers waved the white flag towards the middle point of the fourth quarter, and I got to see Ariel Hukporti go in the game, which please give him more minutes. Please give him more minutes. Begging. We please give him more minutes. But either way, the point being, I thought that they were a little bit sloppy defensively in the first half. The second quarter, at the end of it, I thought they were actually a bit better defensively, but it was a little annoying in the first quarter and, the first half of the second quarter where the Knicks were making all these, they were getting all these points, and they were doing everything right offensively. But here come the Milwaukee Bucks the other way, and they're just responding because this team's not getting stops. That all changed as the game progressed, especially in the fourth quarter, and especially towards the end of that second quarter, where they really dialed in defensively. And that's something that we need to see from this team going forward. I mean, that goes without saying, is quality defensive basketball, because they were letting the Bucks hit a couple threes early on. Giannis and Dame were really getting, really making it rain on them, especially in that first quarter where Giannis had 13 points, Dame had 9 points, and I was getting a little bit worried there, but thankfully this team locked in, which is something that we haven't seen from them in a bit, in terms of, you know, against a quality opponent, because they should have beat Toronto like we addressed already. And, you know, anytime they had games lately, they were letting them slip away. This one, they stepped on Milwaukee's throat and went full throttle, and that's what you like to see, because like I said, Brunson, 44 points today, and they, as a team, they got 18 threes. They made 18 threes. Way better than what it's been. This team was barely even touching double digits from beyond the arc for most of the nights. For most nights, is what I mean. They've been struggling so much with hitting threes lately. They've been struggling so much with just even creativity offensively and like moving the ball around. I thought they were moving the ball around so much better today. They just did everything right in today's game, which is something that they needed to get back on track with. And they were doing better in transition as well. They got a good amount of points off of turnovers in today's game. Got a lot of points in the paint, which was nice to see on top of the three ball, because it was nice to see them actually incorporate some of that in their game, especially Brunson, who was actually making his shots, you know, some of those baseline jumpers, driving to the rack, getting to the free throw line. There was a sequence in the first quarter where he was just making every layup and just getting and one. And I loved every second of it. And this is what the Knicks need to do. And as much as Jalen Brunson may be the captain, Josh Hart in that locker room after that game against the Thunder said something that he's already said this season, and the fact that he had to say it twice is disturbing, but he said it again, that there's egos right now. There's issues in that, not in the room in particular, but he felt guys were letting their egos get in the way, and they need to play a better brand. I'm just paraphrasing what he said, but play a better brand of basketball. Combining words here. Play a better brand of basketball and not let your egos get in the way. And you saw so much of that in today's game. You know, you saw a different team entirely from what we've seen the past few days. And I think Josh Hart's words definitely played a role in the fact that there was a better brand of basketball played today. 100%. And he's definitely, there's a reason he's one of my favorite players. It's because of the fact that he's very vocal with his leadership qualities. Even though he's not the captain, he's very vocal, and he plays with so much damn, I didn't want to say heart to make it sound corny, but he plays with a pair of testicles. How about that? He plays with a sack, and he's a big energizer. That was the word I was looking for. He's an energizing piece for this lineup, and he was leading by the way with that. And I mean, even today, 11 boards for him, ended up getting 11 points, getting a double-double. So he backed up his word, and I'd like to see this team going forward continue to back up that type of basketball and get back on track to get a win streak going, because this team desperately needs to, just start playing better, because obviously they're above the playoff line. I can't say they desperately need wins because they're comfortably above the line, but I'd like them to get a win streak because I want to see them play some better basketball, especially because you do play a couple of teams that you should be beating up on, like the Pistons coming up on the schedule. You should be beating them. Philadelphia is on the schedule, which they've been better lately, but, hopefully you could win there. Minnesota, Atlanta, Brooklyn. These are a couple teams that you should be beating here. You should be beating some of these teams. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.